Hello, hello, beautiful people. Today, I want to share with you a beautiful story and really a methodology on how to face our demons. As we go deeper in our meditation practice and our spiritual journey, we will have to face our own demons. These are part of ourselves that are hurt, that are in our body, mind, heart, and we they might not even belong to us. They might be from another generation. It might be in the form of intergenerational trauma. It could be in a way of how we have behaved in the past. And we have to face those parts of ourselves. And in our society, we're very often told we have to face our demons, but rarely ever are we taught how to do it. So I want to share with you this beautiful story and how things have worked for me in that way, facing my own demons over the years. The story is about Malrepa, I believe his name is. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And he was a monk living in the woods in a cave and meditating. And one day he goes to fetch some water and he comes back, and his little cave is filled with demons. Fierce looking ones, we're told, with big eyes, big fangs, and really hissing, scary creatures. And that cave really represents our body, our identity, our mind, our hearts. And he's beyond himself. What are these things doing in my cave? So he orders them to get out. Obviously they don't. They're just sitting there staring at him. And then he finally tries with brute force to remove those demons from his cave. He uses aggression, really, to kick them out. And it doesn't work, obviously. He's tired, but the more he tries, the stronger those demons become and the more restful they look, really. And that's when we try to use brute force to really remove those demons, those negative feelings that we have, right? We can be chanting things. We can have affirmations. I'm lovable. I'm worthy of love. We can't chant those day and night, but it probably won't help because we cannot force those parts of ourselves to heal. It's just impossible, right? Because when we say, oh yeah, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, I'm a success. But if there's a part of ourselves, there's demons in our heads that say, no, you're not worthy. Who do you think you are? Look at what you've done in the past. So brute force really doesn't work. And this guy here finds out very quickly that that doesn't work. So he goes and says, well, if force doesn't work, I'm just going to start teaching them spirituality. So he starts teaching them, talking about the Dharma, the Buddha, this and that. But they're just still sitting there staring at him, really. And that's really, to me, intellectualization, trying to understand these things, trying to force again ourselves, our concepts upon these demons, this hurt part of ourselves, or anything really. And it doesn't work. It's like reading books about it, or reading a book about 7 steps to healing, this and that. We try to force these intellectualizations upon this part of ourselves, and it doesn't work. A common thing I used to say is like, who am I to feel hurt? Other people have experienced far worse things than me and they're doing well. Why should I complain? It doesn't work. Take it from me. And I'm sure you've experienced that. So he's finally tired. This doesn't work. So he finally gives up and opens himself. He says, look to the demons in his cave. Look, it seems like we're going to be here for a while. And I'm sure you've come here to teach me something. I open myself entirely to you. And he said in a sincere way, completely opening himself to these demons. And when he looks up, they're all gone, except the one, we're told, the most fierce looking one, with fangs and bulging eyes. And so when he opens himself to him, most of them are gone. When we're open to see what those hurt part of ourselves want to tell us, they are freed, really. if we think we're not worthy of love, trying to convince ourselves that we are, it never works really. But when we open ourselves to it, what does it mean that I'm not lovable? What does it mean that I'm not worthy? And we do the practice of felt sense, really feel it, the roots of it, the experience that led to that belief, then that part is healed and they just disappear. It's a beautiful and very freeing experience, open to everybody, really. So there is one more demon still there. So what he does, he goes to it, closes his eyes, and puts his head in the mouth of the demon, says, I open myself to you. I offer myself to you wholeheartedly. Do what you want. And then when he opens his eyes again after a few minutes, the last demon is gone, right? And his cave is his again. I love that story. I really do. It's very straightforward. And when we face our demons, the part of ourselves that are hurting, the part of ourselves that are in the path, in our meditation, sometimes we have resistance. Part of ourself doesn't want to go further, right? It happens to me all the time, especially if he had some trauma in the past. So what worked in the story and what works for me is radical honesty. We have to be honest, right? Very often we try to override these negative feelings, these demons in our heart or body, this form of pain in form of negativity, with drinking, with partying, you name it. We've all done that, right? But radical honesty really helps when we're truly open to that feeling, to that sensation in our body, even if it's negative. It really releases that negativity and it takes us really to the deep root of what caused that negativity. Very often when I get up, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I have this nagging feeling in my body. So instead of grabbing my phone or getting out of coffee, I just sit there with it a few minutes. What is it? What is this feeling that come up? Why did it come up? And I listen to it. I fully, completely listened to it through the practice, and I made a video about it, the felt sense. What is this feeling? Where does it come from? When we go to the root of it, this just disappears. And the other component of healing our demons is really unconditional love. That's a big part of it. By fully and completely loving ourselves. That means even part of ourselves that we don't want to see. We all want to be perfect. We all want to be immaculate. We all want to be the one person in the world who's never made any mistakes, who's never done bad things. But that's not true. We all have. And the sooner we face those parts of ourselves, the sooner we release them from ourselves, the sooner we heal them and we're not obstructed by them anymore. They just become a beautiful part of our story, of our memory of who we are. So that happens a lot. Even Buddha, when he was sitting, I mentioned it a couple of times, is a famous story. When he was meditating, getting closer to enlightenment, Mara came and brought his daughters and danced for him, trying to distract him. And he realized that that's just part of himself, and he didn't budge. And then Mara tried to derail Buddha's meditation and said the worst thing you can tell anybody, which is, who do you think you are? You're not worthy of enlightenment. And that's a nagging voice in our heads. And then he touches the ground and says, I am worthy, right? So the way we heal our parts of ourselves is really fully being open to it, being present to it, even if it doesn't feel good, right? Otherwise, it won't work. The most extreme example of it, one that gave me meaning for many years, is the form of an alcoholic person who cannot give up drinking. That person can tell him or herself that he's worthy, she's worthy, this and that. It doesn't work. But really, the people that have gone through it, they say that you have to sit down and face your demons. You have to face down and see what is it that is causing this thing in ourselves that is obstructing us, that makes us behave in a way or another. And it's a beautiful thing. The healing journey is a beautiful journey. It is absolutely magnificent. And no matter what we look today, if we do these practices, if we continue our healing journey, our practice of meditation, we will feel so good. We never imagined that would be even possible, really. So here you have it. How do we face our demons? We face them through radical honesty, through the practice of felt sense, by sitting on them, and with unconditional love for ourselves, for other people that may have wronged us, and just for everything, just unconditional love. And when we do that, those part of ourselves are healed, and those negative feelings will go away. Um, I can do it. I've done it in the past, and anybody else can do it. It's a free gift, really. I hope you will have an amazing Christmas, and I wish you all the best for the exciting new year. Talk to you soon. Bye. And thank you for being part of my journey.